Let's go live. Move this out here.
Let's go live.
All right. Let's get it, y'all. Welcome back to another live stream. Another episode of the Late Night Show with your host, Dr. Kojo. I'm checking in from the West Coast here, aka the Best Coast. And we have an amazing show for you all tonight. I have 3 things that autistic people should stop doing. 3 tips. 3 tips for y'all tonight. And I'm very excited to get into it. So it's going to be a great show to start the week off. Thank you for your attention. Thank you for your patience. Your boy is late. Cough, cough, what's new? But thank you so much for your attention. And I would love to see who is here with us here on this stream. So go ahead and use the comment section to let me know where you are checking in from. And we will go ahead and get started. I know we are streaming on a couple of different platforms right now. We're streaming on Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, LinkedIn, and Twitch. Those are the platforms where we're streaming on. So Facebook, LinkedIn, TikTok, and Twitch. Autism Mom in here. We love you. Denise, I love you all too. I love you. I love everybody that's here. Thank you so much for your attention. San Diego in the house. Charo from Philippines. Well, I'm happy that you're back. Party people, that's exactly what we are. Florida in the house. Indiana in the house. Okay. On TikTok, Chose is watching from Los Angeles. Somebody else says, your videos feel like my brain is speaking out loud. It means that you're in the right spot. You're in the right spot if that's how you feel. And I feel like this light, wait, if I put it off, there's like purple. There's like purple on my head. It's bothering me. It's a sensory thing. It's bothering me. I've had this purple on my head. Let's get this purple off my head, y'all. 10%, 20%, 30%. This is about to be a sensory nightmare if I don't fix it. Yeah, that's much better. That's much better. That is much better right there. But is it blinking too much? It's blinking too much. I don't like that. This is a sensory nightmare. I don't like that. I don't like it. Let me see. We're going to fix this light together, y'all. Blinking too much. It's good there, but then everything is purple. If it becomes too much, I will cut it off. I will not sit here in a sensory nightmare. JC, happy to have you. And Chosen, you get it? Sensory stuff, I just can't do it. Mac, what's going on? Mac, checking in from, is it Maine? Emily from Nashville. Emily, happy to see you. Hopefully I see you at the show in Nashville, Tennessee. Speaking of Emily from Nashville, May 31st, 5:30 p.m. Tennessee time, I'll be at the Zanies Lab. Me and my friends from California. All of us neurodivergent. You know, neurodivergent folks roll around in packs. But we're bringing an amazing show to you all. Tickets are in the link in the bio. The Nashville show will sell out at this rate. So hopefully y'all can get your tickets. And I would love to see y'all. Love to see y'all. British Columbia, Canada in the house. Okay. West Virginia in the house. Asia, I'm doing great. I feel awesome. I need art. I probably do. You can tell that there's a single guy who lives here. The art needs to be, it could be better. It could be better. My son was diagnosed ADHD. You popped up on my Facebook and you have helped me understand him more. And I also showed him and he's identifying with it. Aaron, thank you so much. Thank you so much for your attention. And shout out to your son. It's funny how the algorithm works. You get diagnosed with autism and all of a sudden, that's all you see on your timeline, my videos. It's as if TikTok and Facebook know that you're autistic? Because why else would they why else would they put my content on your timeline? Mac. Ooh, I love these comments. I love these comments. I'm excited for this live stream. The 3 things that I have for y'all tonight, these are 3 key things. If most autistic people stop doing the 3 things that I'm going to talk about tonight, I think their confidence would skyrocket. A software filter. Sure, I need that. It sounds kind of complicated, but this is probably what I need. I tried this before the live stream. That was my first thought. Unplug it and plug it back in. It still wasn't doing anything. Yes, there are tickets left for the Nashville show. I'm going to text my promoter tomorrow and get an account. But the Nashville show and the Houston show are selling pretty well. And also, we just added 2 new dates. So New York City, June 11th, Chicago, Illinois, June 18th, Nashville, May 31st, Houston, Texas, April 26th. So I'm so excited to get going. I can't wait to see y'all at the shows. The Nashville show is special for me, obviously. I grew up in Nashville, Tennessee, so it's my homecoming, and it's going to be a very special night. But so will Houston. Houston is where we kick things off for the comedy tour. So Houston, the All Jokes Aside Comedy Club in Houston, Texas on April the 26th, then Nashville, May 31st. And then we will be going to New York City, June 11th, Chicago, June 18th, with more dates to be added later. Emily, I can't wait to see you. Thank you, Emily. I appreciate it. See, this is why Tennessee is the best. That Southern hospitality. I can't wait to see y'all in Nashville. I cannot wait to see y'all in Nashville. Penny from Oklahoma. Penny, how are you? People on TikTok, how are y'all? Coco on TikTok. Coco on TikTok asks, "Hey, I'm Ghanaian with ADHD. Can you share your experience with how your parents reacted?" So, Coco, oh my goodness, my parents are immigrants. They don't believe in mental health. Okay. So whenever people leave those comments where they say, my parents don't believe in mental health, I feel like I'm alone. I know what I know, because my parents, they don't believe in mental health like that. So, I mean, I told my mom that I had ADHD and she was like, no. She's like, no. And then she saw the medications that I was taking. I'll never forget. I think it was Adderall. I started on Concerta. Then the doctor gave me Adderall. And you know, if y'all take Adderall, you know that on the bottle, it doesn't say Adderall. It says mixed amphetamine salts. That's what the medication is. That's generic. It says it on the bottle. My mom borrowed my car one time and she was looking in the glove compartment. Then she found the Adderall and she looked and she saw mixed amphetamine salts. And then she Googled it. And then she came and she asked me if I was okay. She asked me if I was doing drugs. I'm like, yes, Mom, I'm doing drugs, but these are good drugs. And she just didn't get it. The funny thing is that more than likely my mom and my dad, if not both, have ADHD and or autism, but they just don't see it. So what I can do is educate you all. And whenever people are ready for the education, I can educate them. But yeah, immigrant parents and mental health, a very interesting combination. Because if you know that you have ADHD and or autism, then you're going to do better because you can put together a game plan for yourself. But just know that if you're doing the work that the majority of people have never done in their lives, it might be a lonely road for you. So Coco, it looks like you can relate to what I'm going through. Lonely road, but that's why I have y'all. Y'all are my family. Y'all are my family, my neurodivergent family. So this is why we get here. We get on here and we talk about all of this because we're in the same boat and we want this information. There's a big difference between people who want the help and people who need the help. People who need the help, we can't do much. People who want the help, that's who you should focus on. The International Space Station. Watch you stay. Eric, welcome to the chat. Um, yeah, I was a troublemaker, and nobody knew I was a troublemaker. And the things that you hear at school, on your report card, bright student would be better if he would apply himself. I got that my whole life, and I would never really do anything until it was due tomorrow. Like the assignments are due tomorrow, and that's how I would get things done. That urgency, but um, if I can do it, it shows that y'all can do it as well. Keely, I appreciate you. My daughter is 12, ADHD, and has never related to anything so much. She watches your videos on repeat and laughs hysterically. Keely, shout out to your daughter. Shout out to your daughter. I appreciate her attention. Thank you so much. And I do my best to make this content to where my niece, who's in 7th grade, can understand it. I think 12 is 6th grade, 7th grade, 5th grade is 11, so 6th grade. Yeah, I make content to where even middle schoolers can understand it. So thank you so much for your attention. And I made a video talking about this. I do believe that autism and ADHD are disabilities, but even though it's a disability and you can call that a handicap, it doesn't have to hold you back. It doesn't have to hold you back, but yes, it is a disability. And Mac, I already was on Good Morning America a couple of years ago. I think I posted the video a while back, but when my book came out, my second book, Feeling Good, I was on the Today Show with Hoda and I forget the lady's name. But yes, I've already been to New York for the Today Show, and I would love to go back. I would love to go back. Obviously, we're going to New York for the comedy show, but anytime they want me back on Good Morning America, I'm happy to return. I'm happy to return. Mac, I appreciate that. My son is 12 and just diagnosed. Okay, congratulations. Now he has his knowledge about himself. I have to deal with task paralysis and had an ADHD crash. Guys, and this is why we have this community over here, because over here, if you look in the comment section, more than likely there are other people who are relating to what you've gone through. And I'm looking on TikTok, and there's a couple of people who have similar experiences with parents who just didn't get their mental health stuff. They'll say all that mental health stuff that you're doing, not knowing that this is probably the most important thing that you can do. This stuff is very important because if you know that you have these conditions, you can set yourself up for success. The richest man on the planet right now is an autistic individual. And we don't have to go into the Elon Musk story. I know that's controversial for some people. Some people love him, some people hate him. But it goes to show that if you put your mind to something, if you hyperfixate, that a lot of good can come from it. So just because you're neurodivergent, it doesn't mean that you're doomed. Okay, so it's important to know these things so you can set yourself up for success. All right, you can set yourself up for success. And Dr. JDS, thank you so much. I appreciate you. Ataxia, thank you. I appreciate each and every one of y'all. All right, and here I have a list of 3 things that every autistic person should stop doing. 3 things. Mac and Cruz, we may have, you know what? Look at me and get distracted. I like this right here. If we did a neurodivergent cruise, it would be, it'd be super funny. It'd be super funny. Super funny. And this right here sounds very ADHD. I also do well in emergency situations because I'm used to high levels of stress and anxiety on a daily basis. Yeah. It's the small tasks that we struggle with ADHD, but the emergency is like whatever. Like I can handle an emergency. I'm not tripping. And we go live Tuesdays and Thursdays at 6 o'clock California time, 9 o'clock East Coast time. I was late today, but it's neither here nor there. All right, so I have 3 things that every autistic person should stop doing. And let me see if I can write out here. These are in no particular order, but they are all things that you can stop today. So nothing here is something that it'll take you a long time to do. You can start making progress towards these 3 things today. All right. So number 1, 3 things that all autistic people should stop doing. Number 1, stop forcing yourself to mask all the time. All right? Stop forcing yourself to mask all the time. Okay, if you can set up a life to where the masking can be at a minimum, you'll feel better. Now, I do understand that you'll mask at work, right? So you can get paid. I get that. I know that you'll mask sometimes at school, so that way you won't be picked on, and I can get that. Especially if you're in high school or middle school. Middle school is the worst. So I get masking to fit in, because when you're young at that age, you want to fit in with other people. You don't want to stand out. You want to fit in and fly under the radar. So I get that. We'll mask from time to time, but when you mask all the time, this is a very good way to burn out. If you're looking to burn out, like if you woke up today and you're like, oh, how can I burn out very quickly? Well, then masking all the time would be a good way to do this. There's other ways to burn out. Burnout is sometimes natural to us. But if you mask all the time, you mask at school, you mask at work, you mask at church, even masking your relationship. Yes, there are people out there who mask in their relationship. It happens. I know. It's no fun when you can't be yourself with the person that you've chosen to do life with. But yes, there are people out there masking in their relationship. I don't fully get it. Honestly, I don't get that, because home is supposed to be the place where you can be yourself. So masking in your relationship, nah. Don't do it. Live. Good to see you. I miss all of y'all back in Virginia. I'll never forget y'all. And Katie, who's asking, is that why the assessment focuses on how you were during middle school? Yes, anytime you're trying to diagnose ADHD and or autism, you cannot just look at the person right there and then. You have to look at how things have been historically. So what type of student were you? How were you in elementary school and in middle school and in high school? And how are you today? We should see a pattern, okay? Masking. So somebody says, y'all always mask in interracial relationships. I don't think this is an interracial relationship thing. Now, maybe if you're in an interracial relationship, you can mask. But I see people masking and they're both the same color. I see 2 black people masking all the time. I see 2 white people masking all the time. This is a very common thing to mask in your relationship, especially when you just meet somebody and you think that they will think that you're weird. So you're not going to quite be yourself because you want them to like you. But it's tough. It's tough. Examples of masking. Yes, I can give examples of masking. So learning about things that you don't actually care about so that you can talk to other people about them, that's masking. Suppressing who you actually are and creating another version of yourself that you can put out into the world is masking. Or if you figure out that there's one part of you that people really like, you make that part, you exaggerate that part, and then you diminish all the other parts of yourself. All right? Laughing at jokes that are not funny. Now, when you're at work, okay, and you started a new job and you want to get your funds up, so you laugh at some things that your coworkers say, I get that. But when you're dating somebody, and it's not the first or second date, I get it. You just met somebody and y'all are out at Applebee's as a first date, so you're trying to be nice. So you're laughing at everything just you're laughing later, but I get that. But to be laughing at things that you don't find funny and to be agreeing to things that you don't want to actually do, you don't have to do that. You don't have to do that. And Eric, exactly. Fitting into another culture is not the same as masking. Yeah, I don't think this is a interracial relationship thing. This is struggling to be yourself around somebody. Zoe, Keno, I'll spend some time with you later, baby. Keno, Zoe. Keno. My daughter wants to play with me. Right, masking to people please. Yep, there's an element of people pleasing and masking often. You want people to like you. But the funny thing is, when you stop caring about whether people like you or not, that's when people like you. It's funny how that works. When you really want people's approval, that's when they're like, nah, I'm not going to give it to you. And then when you're like, all right, I don't care anymore. Whatever. You can like me if you want. If you don't, it's cool. Then all of a sudden, people are like, yeah, I like you. I like you. uh, and Emily says, my 4-year-old is doing this masking and he's autism ADHD because he masks at his home. I'm so glad people talk about this and so much more because it makes me as a mom know I'm fighting for the right reason. Emily, thank you for your comment here. And I'm happy that you left this comment here because masking starts very early as 3 and 4. Kids are smart. Kids are very smart. Kids know what things to do to get your approval. You know, and like people pleasing goes back to your childhood. Not to get too deep on a Tuesday night, but if you look at those wounds from your childhood and all those attempts to please your parents, fighting for your parents' approval, sometimes that desire to get their approval never really goes away. It never really goes away, and you'll catch yourself as a fully grown adult fighting for people's validation and people's approval. But when you admit to yourself that you are a people pleaser and that you are fighting for people's approval, is very liberating. It's very liberating to say, I am addicted to the attention that I get from other people. Once you say it, then you can free yourself of it. You can free yourself of it. Sav, I appreciate you. We do live streams. We do live streams. And see, Trevone, that's the issue. Trying to fix yourself instead of working with the brain that you have. So you don't have to fix yourself. You just need to know that you have ADHD and work with this brain. Oh, you try to fix yourself at a young age. Okay. Working with your brain instead of working against your brain is going to make you feel a lot better. A lot better. Alicia says, I try to do that, but I'm so cheesy. I constantly get people cringe. I feel like all I do is make people feel bad, like I told a bad joke. We should all try to tell bad jokes every now and then. And that's something that I really appreciate about comedy. There's nothing more humbling than getting up in front of a bunch of people and saying something out loud that you find to be funny and people don't laugh. And then I'm like, okay, all right, whatever. And then when you let go of that need to make people laugh, then they start laughing at you because now you're actually funny. So we should tell more bad jokes. Nothing is wrong with bad jokes. And Anessa on TikTok says, all my jokes are bad. It makes it funnier. I agree. And plus, you really have funny people. A funny person is better than a funny joke. Does that make sense? A funny person is better than a funny joke. If somebody's just funny and you like laughing with them, at them, together in unison, then that makes for a good time. It makes for a good time. And somebody says, do others feel like a chameleon with different groups? This is something that a lot of neurodivergent people experience, where you can go into different friend groups and you can mix in with, like, that was me my whole life. Like, I was never into a friend group, but I could go in, I could hang out with the emo kids and I would ingratiate myself with them. I could go hang out with the stoners and I could fit in with them. I could go hang out with the athletes and I would fit in with them. I could go hang in with the super Christian kids and I will fit right in because I knew how to, mold myself into different friend groups. Like, it was just normal for me. And anytime I would have like a birthday party or something where people would come together, it would make me nervous because friends would have to mix. It would make me very nervous for my stoner friends to meet my Christian friends. I'm like, y'all not supposed to meet because like y'all just way too different. Way too different. Different people. But all amazing. The social butterfly type, right? The social butterfly type. Our friend group sounds similar from when I was in high school, college. Yeah, a lot of neurodivergent people are like this. Sydney says, worlds collide. They mess up my categories of friends. Yeah, it's scary when those friends come together because you're not sure if they're gonna enjoy each other. But what I found is that whenever those friends will come together, it was okay. Like it was fine to have this accumulation of friends. Like everything was cool. But I was scared for these groups of people to meet each other. I was scared. Amalia says, lost many fake friends once I became authentic. However, unfortunately, at work, I have to mask as most of our society does. As a neurodivergent, I'm incredibly passionate. And I have to dim because it come out too strong. Right. So, guys, when I say my first tip here, things that autistic people should stop doing, stop forcing yourself to mask all the time. But sometimes you do have to mask the work. And most people won't give you that advice. That's not the sexy advice to give somebody to tell them that they should continue to mask. If you have a job right now that requires some form of masking, right? And let's say you're the sole breadwinner in the family, don't you better mask a little bit. Mask a little bit. Don't quickly just unmask all of a sudden. Find other areas of your life to be more of you. And then as you start to get more experience of work, maybe as you stay at the job longer and longer, and as you get more autonomy at the job, then you can start to be more of yourself. But in the beginning, you might have to laugh at a couple of unfunny jokes, you know? You may have to do that. Don't quickly unmask. I I don't recommend that. 0 out of 10. Don't just unmask out of nowhere, especially at work. All right. Take your time and unmask, but don't just quickly go from masking to all right, now I'm myself at work. Nah, you got take your time. Trevone, you're not defective. You're just learning how to work with your brain. But that's how we feel when we're stuck. We really feel like something is wrong with us. Like we really feel like something is really wrong with us. You know, so the masking long term, it does lower your self-esteem and it feels like you're far away from being the person that you want to be. So, you know, we do mask so that way we can, you know, we can get the social benefits of it. Everybody wants to have friends. Everybody wants to have romantic options. We all want to have a job. So when you go in for a job interview, because look, if you go in as yourself off the rip, you probably wouldn't get the job. You go in to interview for the job and you're talking to the person who is looking to bring you in, and they're making a couple of jokes here and there, you know, a little bit of small talk. We don't like small talk, but a little bit of small talk here and there. And they're asking you questions, and you're like, yeah, like I'm gonna do a good job. And then they're trying to make you laugh, and you're like, then they're gonna call you a bad company fit. You know, you're bringing down the culture. So we have to know where to mask and where not to mask. But in your relationships, don't start this habit of dating somebody and you have to pretend to be someone else. It's not sustainable. The person that you decide to be with, you pick that person. So if you're not happy with where things are, you pick that person. If you are happy with where things are, great, you pick your person. So just know that in order to, you know, feel more you, the less you mask, the better. All right. So the less you mask, the better. Amelia, I know sometimes if you just stay to yourself, then you can be yourself. I'm not saying that you should be single, you know, your whole life, but um, when you're by yourself, you get to be exactly who you want to be. Like I live by myself, so I can walk around here with no pants. I can be walking around here free willy, just free balling and jumping up and down and farting. Like I can be who I want to be in the house. You know, not to say that that's what I do all the time. I only do that every now and then. But I mean, being single is one way to be yourself. But you can find people that you can be around. I know that that's true. You can find, I'm not sure about romantically, but you can find friends that want to be around you. So don't ever think that you're too weird to be around other people. Let me see. can't even do my taxes and it's weighing on me. I relate. I relate. I relate. If you all the time, no judgment. Yeah, every now and then, I can walk around the house, free balling. Free balling. I think that's funny. Free balling. Right. The neighbor's gonna be like, what's Coda doing jumping naked? They're gonna try to take me to the psych hospital. I'm like, well, I can get out. I work there. I got the keys. I can get out. I'm free balling. Let me free ball. Let me free ball. Free balling. Okay. So number one, stop forcing yourself to mask all the time. Stop forcing yourself to mask all the time. Riley, we have to do our taxes so we don't go to jail. Actually, let me get your comment off the screen. I don't want the IRS to see you. I'll help you hide. If the IRS is looking for you, I will help you hide. All right. Free balling. What? It's balls, so it's two balls. Free ball. And the neighbors do need to mind their own business. Because if I'm like, it's not a crime to be in your house naked. And a lot of us, on a serious note, some people have a hard time finding pants that are comfortable, pants or shorts that are comfortable. So a lot of people like don't wear pants or maybe like shorts that are very light. I know this is a sensory thing. I like shorts that are very light. Sometimes they have no pockets, but those shorts, like I can, like everything got space to breathe, So you gotta find what works for you, whether it's free balling or something else. All right. The second thing that every autistic person should stop doing is stop assuming everyone understands you. All right. So number two, free ball. I don't like clothing. Guys, we could really have a talk about this because a lot of autistic people, when I used to work with autistic kids at the hospital, a lot of them would strip down and they would take their clothes off and we'd have to remind them, hey, put your clothes on because like people are here. But it's a sensory nightmare sometimes when you have clothes that are this uncomfortable. So wearing as little as possible is sensory freeing, and it's not like a weird sexual thing. It's just more so like, is this too many layers of clothes on me? I'm uncomfortable. It's a comfort thing. It's a comfort thing. All right. Now, I ain't going to show everything now. You got to pay for that. All right. Second thing, stop assuming everyone understands you. Okay. Now, I find that this is like half and half. Half of autistic people do this, and the other half of autistic people don't do this. But when you assume that everyone understands you, it can lead for a lot of misunderstandings, right? So when autism means that the way that you communicate with the world and the way that you experience the world is different from how other people experience the world and how they communicate. So because of this, you will need some external support. All right. So in a sense, you can say that if you are autistic, you speak a different language. All right. So one thing that we do as neurodivergent people is we'll be hanging around with our other neurodivergent friends, right? Or like over here, this is a neurodivergent friendly space. So when we're hanging around people like us, we get to talk in different ways. Like we can switch our accents, like we can be ourselves and we are understood. But we forget that everybody's not like us. So you're having a great time hanging out with your other friends who are neurodivergent, your other neurospicy friends, but then you go out into the real world and you think that people still understand you. And you look at people's faces and sometimes they're confused. They don't know what you're talking about because we communicate in different ways. They don't know what you're talking about. So sometimes you have to actually give additional context into what you're saying, which is ironic because sometimes our default is over explaining. We want to over explain from the jump. So sometimes over-explaining is not the best, but additional context is needed, because when you're talking to people who are not neurospicy, many times they don't know what you're talking about. And this can make you not want to talk to these people. And not that you should cut these people out, but they don't know what you're talking about. They're kind of confused. We speak two different languages. We speak two very different languages. So when you understand that there's people out there who don't know what you're talking about, but they're not bad people, they don't get your humor. You make jokes that you and your friends would normally laugh at, and then you tell somebody a joke and they don't get it. You're like, dang it, I'm weird. You're not weird. Nothing is wrong with you. You just have to know that other people communicate very differently from how we communicate. So we have to not assume that everybody understands us. But when you're around people who are like you, there's less explaining. Many times when you're hanging around people who are also neurospicy, you'll start to talk and they will finish your sentence. Like we're on the same wavelength. But then when you go back into the world, it's like, damn it, y'all don't know what I'm talking about. Y'all don't know what I'm talking about. And Dallas says on TikTok, when that happens, I start to keep the conversation short. Right. Right. Because they don't know what you're talking about. And Seti says, this is why I need country space, miss walking around comfortably. Yeah, depending on where you live, you may have to wear all your clothes, depending on where you live. And Tina, is exhausting, is discouraging. Mac, people calling you weird. It's you'll really think that Jerome says, I thought I wasn't meant to be around fancy people. You will think that something is wrong with you. You really will. This is why it's healing to be around people like you. Not to say that you shouldn't hang around like the normal people, for lack of a better term. But when you talk to other people who have similar experiences, like over here, you feel more regulated. You feel normal, because people sometimes, people like surface level talk, and if you're too deep with people, they could be a little bit turned off by that. So yeah, I agree with it's me. It's me, Noodles. They don't understand us, and it's hard to understand them too. But I do think that there's some benefit to figuring out what a neurotypical person would say. And I mean, if you're good at masking, then you typically know how to go in and out of those environments and do well. But it takes a lot out of you to have to do that constantly. It's just so much. It's just so much. Let's see. That makes sense. My boyfriend and I don't have to use right. That's one thing that we'll do as neurodivergents. Like, we can communicate with sounds. Like, sometimes I'll be talking to my sister and I won't even be saying real words. I'll say something and she'll know. And then my grandma will be like, what did Coder say? I'll be like, TV. And she's like, oh, he says, turn off the TV. But she knows what I'm saying. But my grandma's like, what is he saying? TV. I just make sounds. And my sister understands. Like she knows what I'm talking about. Trevor, I appreciate that. I think we're all unique in our own ways. And I mean, I'm okay being weird. I don't pretend that I'm not crazy anymore. Like, I've embraced it. I've embraced it. I've embraced it. I hate that I understand this. What if I mask so well that I don't get diagnosed with ADHD, this social anxiety? Look, I haven't even really thought about that, but sometimes you can mask for your provider so well that you get misdiagnosed. In fact, this can happen a lot. You go in thinking that you have ADHD and or autism, they can give you a social anxiety. This is actually pretty. Now, Katie, I'm not sure if this is your experience, but this is actually pretty common. I feel like a lot of people are misdiagnosed because you're masking even for your doctor. I know that I've done that before, and like, I'm me, and I have to remind myself that, oh no, like I'm supposed to be myself here. But until you really trust somebody, you're like, hold up, can I really tell this person what I'm doing? Like some people won't tell their doctors. Doctors will ask you like hard hitting questions like, are you a smoker? Are you still smoking? And if your parents are, you're like, you know, that question like when you're 13 years old and the doctors are like, are you sexually active? And then your mom was looking over your shoulder and you're like, no. I remember being asked that. I was like, no. But then in my head, I was like, I wish I was, but I'm just a kid. I wish I was, but I'm just a kid. But I'm just a kid. Coworker saying that I'm too mean and too direct. Oh, yeah. See, this is why people mask at the workplace. Zo, Canon, go. You guys, go. Good Zo. This is why people mask at work, because if you are too direct, yeah, you can piss people off. Like I had a conversation with my brother today about this. Like it's so frustrating to be neurodivergent and to know certain things, but you have to bite your tongue. You can't just say everything that comes to your mind. You can't just say that, because some people don't know what you know. So you have to learn how to just like be quiet. Don't say everything. All right. Don't say everything, because you will freak people out. So sometimes there's an obvious thing that people are not acknowledging that will drive you crazy. But when you say it, people are pissed at you. So, you're like, all right, I'm just going to sit here, but this is crazy that we do this, but I'm not going to say anything. And like, I've always had a hard time with that, because I'm like, I'm not the only one who sees this. I can't be the only person who sees this. Like, do y'all see what I see? Why are y'all being quiet? Like, am I the only person who sees this? Because I know it can't be me. I know at least one more person sees what I'm seeing, and people are just acting like nothing is wrong, right? Professional tongue biters, right? You know what's going on, but and I really do think that some people don't know. Like some people really just don't know what's going on. So yeah, like some people don't know. They just don't know. Because like I had to ask myself, I'm like, the people who are ignoring this, are they actually like oblivious to it, or do they see it but they won't say anything? A lot of times they don't see it. So you have to extend some grace to those people, because um they don't see it. Yeah, you gotta play that game with your coworkers, and it sucks. 32,000 weird. Oh, you've been free balling life. Free balling life. So here's the thing: anybody who is undiagnosed, but they do the things that an autistic person or an ADHD person would do. Like if you if you learn what somebody who has autism or ADHD will do to improve their lives, and you do that, then you would feel better. So some people are okay being undiagnosed, and some people want that definitive answer. So it's really up to you. But the benefits of a diagnosis is, number one, if you get the ADHD diagnosed, then you can get medications for that. There's medications for autism too, but those are more so mood stabilizers to help you not be so irritated, anxious, and that will help you communicate better. And also, if you get ADHD medications, it'll make your autism a lot stronger too. So sometimes getting an ADHD diagnosis is like on the path to getting an autism diagnosis. Not that it's supposed to be like that, but because you can get diagnosed with autism earlier than you can with ADHD. Because you can be diagnosed with autism like 18 months, and ADHD is you have to be at least like 5 or 6. I like to wait till 6 and 7. But when you're an adult, normally what I see is you get the ADHD first, you take the ADHD meds, and then the meds supercharge your autism, and it shows. It shows at that point. You can really see that you have the autism as well. Debbie, thank you so much. Thank you. Hopefully, I get to meet you one day and sign the book. I appreciate that. All right, okay. So going back to the second point, things autistic people should stop doing. Stop assuming people understand you automatically. You will want to clarify things with family at times, but here's what I've learned. You could look, you could let's say you have autism, okay? You could be somebody who has autism, and there's also people in your family who have autism, but they're not aware of the fact that they have it. Even that person in your family, it could be hard to talk to them because they don't have the awareness that they are also on the spectrum, that they also have ADHD. Family is family, and I love my family, but you have to, like, your family. There are certain people in your family that you can talk to about certain things, and there's other people that you can't really talk to about what you want to talk about. So sometimes you can't be authentic with family, and it sucks. It really sucks. A lot of our parents don't really know us. Like they know you, but how many of our parents can we say like my parents know me? I'm not sure that a lot of our parents know who we are. Gina, the link should be in my uh the link to the book is in the my profile on all the different platforms. So on Facebook, you click that link there, you can get information to the comedy shows and also the book. It should be there as well. Yeah, so it sucks sometimes you can't even be upfront with your parents. It sucks. It sucks. Bearded nerd on TikTok says, I moved from an area where I had friends. Now I'm in a new area. Nobody knows that unmasked me. Look, how many people know the real us? Those are the friends that we really appreciate the most. The ones who they know it, they know exactly who we are. 80 Adderall manages the ADHD, but makes autism show. Yeah, the ADHD meds, it will definitely put the autism into high definition. High definition. You feel like you get a lot of aha moments post diagnosis. No, you really do. You really do. My mom so thinks autism can be cured. I don't talk to her much. Yeah, I mean, I told my mom that I have to take medications to help me sleep. And she said, okay, I'll pray for you so that way you don't have to take medications. And I was like, I'm Dr. Kojo. And I'm like, all right, mom. Gotcha. All right, mom. Pray for me so I don't have to take medications. Or you can just take the medications that God made and then sleep. Well, I look like not sleeping at night. And, but I mean, I get it. They come from a generation where, you're not like nobody's ADHD, nobody's autistic. If anything, people are witches and demons. Like we're coming from old school Africa, so there was no mental illness. There was no schizophrenia. It was only witches and whatever the male equivalent of a witch is. I'm not sure. What is a male witch? Do you have a wizard? I'm guessing wizard. I never thought about that. What's a male witch? But yeah, back in old school Africa, there was no autism or ADHD. You were just you're just a witch. You're just a witch. A warlock. I mean, a warlock. Ah, I never knew that. TikTok is telling me that a male witch is called a warlock. Oh, I learned so much on here. That's cool. That's cool. Yeah, there are different types of schizophrenia, and you also have schizoaffective disorder, which is very close to schizophrenia. It's like schizophrenia with bipolar. Yeah, but warlock. Thank you for telling me this. I never knew this. Oh, warlock. Can your mom pray for me? I'm not sleeping well. I'll I'll ask my mom to pray for you. But whatever your doctor says, you can also do that as well too. You can also do that as well. Warlock, I never knew that. Patrick, it's good to see you. Patrick is checking in from England. Thank you for your attention. It's almost like what 4 o'clock over there in England. So thank you for your your attention. Thank you so much. Which part of Africa? I'm from Ghana, West Africa. Ghana. My grandma was like that, and she was a Christian. Went to church nearly every day. Prayed. And look, I believe in prayer. I'm still a Christian, and I still pray. But I also take the meds that the psychiatrist gives me because I want to sleep. Otherwise, I will not sleep, and that's not good for me. I need to sleep. I need to sleep. Ooh, this third one is good right here. Things autistic people should stop doing. This one is really good right here. Stop comparing your timeline to everyone else. Ooh, ooh, this is a good one right here. Stop comparing your timeline to everyone else. This right here is so important. A lot of us, well, actually, I don't want to speak for y'all, but I feel like a lot of us feel that we're late bloomers. I definitely feel that way. I definitely feel like I'm a late bloomer. It took me a long time to do everything in life. Like I was always a bit behind. Like I was always like finishing after other people when it came to taking tests. I got my driver's license later than everybody else. I got my first job later than everybody else. Of course, when I went to college and I'm in my profession, but I was just always a little bit behind. I felt like, and if you feel like you're behind, it means that you're probably doing what you're supposed to be doing. Like it's okay to question and question yourself and you feel like you're not doing the right things or like we have those doubts every now and then, but we don't want to compare ourselves to other people, because other people can get to their spots faster, but are they in the right spots? And a lot of us don't know who we are. Yeah, this is perfectly normal. If you're just now finding yourself at 32, that's normal. Yeah, that I'm learning a lot about myself. And think about how many people go their whole lives not knowing who they are. People don't ask themselves these questions. And it's much easier to not observe your life and just live in a world that you've created for yourself mentally. Sometimes reality is too painful for people. So when reality is too painful for you, you create another version where you can get lost in. Either that or you submerge yourself into drugs and vices and gambling or whatever, because you don't want to deal with the realities of how harsh life is. So if you're just now finding out who you are at 32, at 42, at 52, that's perfectly fine. Because when you know yourself, you can put yourself in positions to where you can win. At the same time, you don't do things that you don't like. Like there are certain things that are non-negotiables that we're not doing ever again because we don't want to do those things. And there are things that we like doing that we will continue to do because we know that we like those things and that they are good for us. Like if you have ADHD, it's a pretty good idea to exercise. If you're autistic, it's a pretty good idea to have genuine friends around. So knowing yourself, however long it takes you to learn yourself, it's so important. It's so important. You could feel like you're behind with friendships. You can feel like you're behind with dating. You can feel like you're behind in your career. You can feel like you're behind when it comes to your independence. The independence part, very key, because every autistic person every single one needs to have some level of autonomy. Even if you're level 3 and you can't talk, you still need to have something that you can do on your own. Something. So when you're behind on, your independence, like it's taking you a long time to get a driver's license, you feel like you're behind on your milestones in life, you might think that you're defective or that you're on the wrong path. No, it's just taking you a while to get there. That's all. It's just taking you a while to get there. You can't judge yourself. Pinky Naps, I appreciate you. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. You share them with your kids. I appreciate that. That's why I got into drugs and alcohol when I was younger, made bad life decisions. But no, this is why people, when everything finally clicks for you, it's such a beautiful moment. And I find that you're not hard on yourself, but you're more so, more understanding of your younger self, because you're like, oh, this is why I was high every day. This is why I was drunk every day. This is why I was in and out of relationships in my 20s. Because I couldn't regulate myself. I was talking to my brother today, and we were talking about dating, and I was telling him that like it's been a bad habit of mine to regulate myself by just getting into another relationship. It's like, I feel sad. There's got to be a woman out here somewhere. There's got to be a slim, thick woman somewhere out here that wants to come and kick it with me. You're my next girlfriend. I'm sad. Come fix my sadness. But if you know why you do these things, it's so enlightening. And it's important. I think that it's important for you to live your truth and to figure out why you do these things and to let the next generation know why. The kids need to know, elementary school, middle schoolers, they need to know why. Like, because parents, how many times will your parents sit you down and let you know what actually happened? Like, if you as a parent can actually sit your kid down and let them know, okay, this is what your mother and your father did. We were dysregulated here. Here we were overwhelmed. Here we were stressed out about this thing. So we weren't able to regulate ourselves. If you can talk to your kids like this, do you know how much of an advantage they have over everybody else? Don't know how to regulate themselves. Don't know what to do and what not to do. Like, it's one thing to tell kids, oh, don't do drugs. It's a whole nother thing to paint a story as to why you did them, what led you down these roads, and how they can avoid it. Because when you're in fifth grade, they bring these people in, and then they tell you don't do drugs, and then they bring these other sex educators in, and then they show you pictures of like the different STDs, and they're like, oh well, don't have sex. This is what will happen. No, like how about you let your children know the real truth? You're overstimulated. You're undiagnosed ADHD, undiagnosed autism. You may have had bipolar. Like, let the kids know exactly why you did what you did, and they're gonna have a heads up, because it's not everything in life that you have to do that like you need that lesson. You can learn from other people. You don't have to go through the pain that other people went through. You can just learn from other people, and it will save you a great deal of pain, a great deal of heartbreak. It will save you a lot, a lot, a lot. Right. I like this. I like this. We're just taking the scenic route. I like this. And I don't have the urge to do drugs, drink anymore. The relationship thing is real. Right. You're not going to have the best Mickey sex because you're bouncing from person to person, just trying to regulate yourself. And I know that sometimes parents don't want to have these conversations with their kids, but the kids are going to go learn from somebody else. I mean, I was in fourth grade learning all kinds of things from my peers. Fourth grade, fifth grade, sixth grade. How about you sit down and you let your kids know, especially if, like if addiction runs in the family, or even if neurodivergence runs in the family, that lends itself to substance use. It's important to know this stuff. It's important to know this stuff. We did a common corner with EQ prompts for our 5-year-old. See, this warms my heart right here. When you start teaching your kids at 5, and of course, the education has to be age appropriate. A 5-year-old doesn't need to know about why you're getting high in college, but just a calming corner. Like, as your kids get older, kids are smart. Kids are really smart. Kids are so smart. If you can explain things to them in their language, man, you're going to have those kids will turn to young adults, and then adults who are regulated and make good decisions. Of course, you'll make your mistakes, but you set them up so well in life. You set them up so well in life. So I'm so excited about that. And let me see, Maslow's labyrinth. My parents and I sat down and made a whole timeline of events once. I'm sure you can find a way to connect the dots in there. I'm sure you can find a way to connect the dots. Autism diagnosis tomorrow. Just be yourself. Just try not to over-explain anything, or really angle for a diagnosis, if you just answer as honestly as possible, it should really, really help out. Your double mom did great. Alcohol helps serve as a buffer in social situations. Right. If you have a couple of drinks and all of a sudden you're able to talk to people and make eye contact and feel as if you're normal, for lack of a better term, guess what? The next time you have a big event that you need to be social at, you reach for that drink. And before you know it, it's become a problem. But if you know, oh, this is why, got it, okay. I can connect the dots now. Then you don't judge yourself for it. You just do better the next time around. And I would rather get to things later than everybody else and be a bit slower, but do things in a way that it feels more authentic to me. But our timelines are going to be behind a lot of people. And the people who are getting to these spots fast, are they happy with their lives? Hopefully they are. But just because somebody's accomplishing something fast, like they're in their career faster, or they're married faster, or they're doing exactly what they want to do faster than you, it doesn't mean that you're behind. It just means that it's taking you a while to get there. You're just taking a while to get there. I was ADHD, raising 2 children. My son raised ADHD and never knew it. So tough. Yeah. It's tough, especially when you don't know. And Cheyenne says, I find myself focusing on eye contact because it was beaten to me young that you show respect. Ooh, that's another thing. Depending on your culture, you have to look people in the eye when you talk to them. So if you're autistic and eye contact is a struggle for you, and you have that urge to look down, parents might beat it into you that, hey, you're supposed to respect. You're supposed to make eye contact, but you don't like eye contact. This is why it's important to know if you have a diagnosis or not. And Candy says, my family is full of undiagnosed neurodivergence. Me 3. Me 3. What generation are you? I'm 33 years old. Is that millennial? I think. I'm not sure. Millennial. Oh, yeah, Patrick, it is time for a water break. Somebody can drop the magic word in the chat. It's been time for a water break, actually. And Mac, family tends to overwhelm us. It tends to overwhelm us. And yeah, Maria, if you can make the connection, as long as you can make the connection and know why, you do certain things, that's going to be very helpful. We should all try and connect the dots between our emotions that we feel and the actions that we do. Because if you understand your behavior, you set yourself for success. You set yourself up for success. So it's very important to do that. Very important to do that. At 42, I've restarted a few times, still feeling like I'm just out of high school. Cheyenne just diagnosed autism and ADHD at 26. I'm honestly embarrassed. Embarrassed for what? You ain't gotta be embarrassed. But in the beginning, it can come as a shock to your system. I know. It can definitely come as a shock to your system. 55-year-old here. Got that beat into you. Eye contact. Or you, yeah. Tammy, sorry to hear that. Sorry to hear that. And the magic word is cheers, by the way. I want to break. Dealing with grief. I think it's important to give yourself all the time that you need to deal with grief. Some people, it takes them a while. They like to stay in that denial phase for quite some time, and that's their way of coping. And also sometimes you feel like you're over and you grieve the situation, and then you come right back to it, and you're like, all right, it's happening all over again. Where like I just can't, believe that this person is gone. So you gotta give yourself the rest of the world. I mean, the rest of the time in the world to grieve. All the time in the world. If it takes you the rest of your life, that's fine. But don't try and accelerate that process to keep up with somebody else's timeline. Big cheers. I'll get some more water because clearly I'm, underhydrated. What other cultures have you been exposed to? What cultures have I been exposed to? I mean, the African culture, because that's how I grew up. The Southern culture, uh, actually very similar. African culture and Southern culture. European culture. I grew up in Norway, um, and I guess the West Coast culture. The California lifestyle. Morocco. Maybe so. 13 friends in 2 years. That's a lot. Sorry to hear that. And a lot of doctors confuse people. Like a lot of doctors will misdiagnose um, bipolar symptoms for trauma and vice versa. I've seen that. Skip says, dude, I thought the girls in your videos were your girlfriends. No, they're my wives, okay? The Vermont. I'd love to come to Vermont one day. I don't know if this is right, but I focus on outperforming others and making. Oh, that could be your motivator, Jenna. I'm not sure. It could be your motivator. Ooh, accommodations. Oh, and also in the Q&A section of the live stream. Accommodations, it depends on whatever they're struggling with the most. So for some kids, sitting in the front of the classroom is very helpful. Some kids having more time in their test is helpful. Some kids taking their test outside the classroom where it's not too loud is helpful. Hopefully the hallways aren't too loud, but I would focus more so on what's frustrating the kids the most and look for accommodations in those areas. I thought they were significant others too in different time periods. How many girlfriends can I have? How do you invite them for your skits? Oh, they're all my friends. They're all my friends. Sharing is caring. That's funny. Lend them fidget and STEM. That would have been helpful for me as a kid. Okay. I'm sure. I'm not sure. I'm sure there's some way to write that into an accommodation, but it would be helpful for kids to get some stimming time. What if they gave all kids like a 10-minute stimming break? Like this, everybody just gets to get up and stim. I think you would reduce a lot of behaviors. A lot of in-school suspensions and out-of-school suspensions wouldn't be happening if you gave kids a chance to just stim. They should let me control some of these curriculums and how they do things at school, because that's what I'll implement, like a 10-minute stim break for everybody. Because the kids who have IEPs and 504s, if you single them out, then kids feel bad, like, okay, I'm singled out, like I'm the only one who needs accommodations. So just let everybody get up and stim, so that way kids don't feel like they're singled out, because that's so embarrassing, when you feel like you're the only one who's neurodivergent, or you're the only kid who has to take medications. And Dallas says, I can't stop stimming during lectures, and that's an adult. So stimming is actually never mind. Y'all got it right then. Y'all got it right. Isn't hypersexuality a common neurodivergent thing? When you say common, I'm not sure what you mean. It's something that you definitely see a lot within the neurodivergent community, but it's not exclusive to neurodivergence. You see it with, obviously, I think people think of a manic episode when they think of hypersexuality, but you can see it in depression. You can see it a lot with just depression. You can even see it with trauma and psychosis, but you definitely do see it in the neurodivergent community, because sex is one way to regulate yourself. And obviously, like if you're in a healthy relationship, or whether you're with one person or polyamorous, whatever your situation is, as long as you feel safe in your relationship, I think that's the key. And then you can do the make you feel with your person as many times as you want. But sometimes you see in the neurodivergent community, when you're dysregulated and you're looking for ways to regulate yourself, it's kind of like a substance. It's a quick way to regulate yourself, and if you do it with many different people, that is one way to regulate yourself. But you could be hurting yourself in the in the process. So it's an individual education plan for neurodivergent kids who are in the K through 12 school system. You're from I know you're in England, so I don't know if they have IEPs over in England. I'm sure that they have some type of equivalent, but I'm not sure what they would call it. I'm not sure what they will call it over there. And Cheyenne is that's right. You can see hypersexuality in a lot of trauma-based mental health illnesses. Yeah, I know the term trauma response is overplayed. Everybody says trauma response, but hypersexuality can be a trauma response. It definitely can be that. Misunderstandings in the workplace. I think it's important to, if you can explain yourself and why you do certain things, it can be helpful. But then there's some people who are hell bent on misunderstanding you or not putting in the effort to understand you. So I think just explaining your perspective can be helpful. And once you've done that, there's not much more that you can do. And explaining yourself is a good way to stand up for yourself, certainly when you consider the fact that you can be bullied in the workplace environments. Sometimes it's hypo, sometimes it's hyper. No, that makes sense because sometimes you have no drive, and sometimes that's all you can think about. So I definitely do get that. I definitely do get that. Oh yeah, my people. Yeah, these are your people, Lachelle. These are your people right here. What do you know about SSRIs affecting men's sexual body parts? Normally, the SSRIs can lead to like sexual side effects. Like it can be hard to, have a orgasm on those meds. Yeah, it can affect erections as well. But at the same time, if somebody is dealing with premature ejaculation, males sometimes will give those people SSRIs on purpose because in that case, the issue is that they're ejaculating too quickly. So SSRIs, they can be used for depression, but also they can be used for premature ejaculation. A lot of folks don't know that. Right, that's the thing. It's tough. Which is draining because you have to try your best to like explain what you're explaining while thinking about if you're too threatening or not, while being so overly mindful of your tone. So it's best to do this on a day where you have a lot of sleep because there's a good chance that they may not understand you regardless. May not understand you. Let me see. And there's other medications for depression. It's not just SSRIs. You have SNRIs. You got things like Wellbutrin. There's different medications. When am I coming to San Francisco? I will be in San Francisco at some point this year. I'm not sure when. It very well could be in April. It could be in April. I love that. Could be my favorite place to do comedy. One of my favorite places. The Function is a good comedy club over there. Then there's one in Santa Rosa, Barrel Proof. So normally when I go on tour, I like to stop by the comedy clubs in San Francisco. Sometimes I go there to just try out new jokes, and sometimes I just go on stage and I just talk. I just say what's in my mind. So I should be in San Francisco within the next 1 or 2 months. I'm not sure exactly when, but the next 1 or 2 months I should be in San Francisco. I don't have a headlining tour in San Fran, but I should be in San Fran at some point. It's an amazing city. I love San Fran. I love rocks and crystals. Typical autistic. If you come over, I'll show you every single one. I like that. I like that. What about St. Louis? I don't have any St. Louis dates, but I haven't been to St. Louis in what? Shoot, at least over 10 years. It's been a long time since I've been to St. Louis. I think that it's time for me to come back. I haven't been to Memphis in just as long. Your name all to say is that I don't have any stops planned for. Leilani, no problem. I'm not sure what happened with YouTube. I feel like I went live the same exact way today. I'm not sure if I did anything differently. Nah, I did start late. I'm not gonna lie, but I did. I started late, so I'll work on that. Yes, I'll be in Nashville. So Cheyenne, I'll be in Nashville May 31st. May 31st at the Zanies Lab, and that's my homecoming show. So I'm so excited to be in Nashville. Like I'm pumped. I'm pumped. I'm so excited. You're far too kind. The Eagles are a way bigger act. Yeah, I guess YouTube normally they don't miss, but sucks. Chris, Phoenix. I would love to come to Phoenix. It's been once since I've been to Arizona, but I would love to come to Phoenix, and I appreciate the love, Chris. I appreciate it. Phoenix, dang, I used to date a girl in Scottsdale, so I used to come to Phoenix a lot, but it's been a while. It's been a while. Any New England stops? Does New York count as New England, or is that like Boston? Boston and Rhode Island, Vermont, Maine. I think that's New England. None yet, but I gotta talk to my team and see if we can do that. I'd love to come to New England. The DM. There's a lot of places that I haven't been to. I think my promoter was talking to me about Oklahoma City and Seattle, and I know we're looking to add Seattle very shortly here. So I would love to come to the DMV. I love Virginia. I love Virginia. I live in a town that's known for being quirky, but I think that's where a lot of autistic people end up living, wearing costumes. Where's the Halloween? Yo, I want to come to your town then. This sounds like a town that I would love to be in. Oh, you're wearing costumes and it's not Halloween? Yeah. That's my type of weird. I would do that. I think I would fit in very well in your town. That sounds like a place that I'd like to be in. Sherry says, I can't believe you are still single. You're a beautiful person inside and out. I appreciate that. Like, maybe this is a very autistic trait of mine, but like I like being by myself. I don't like being alone. Like it'd be really cool to have a very beautiful woman right there, but I like being by myself. So I don't know how to explain that. But there's a lot of autistic folks in here, so y'all know what I'm talking about. I like being by myself, so I like my space. Whereas in my 20s, like how many years in my 20s was I actually single? Maybe like 1 or 2. Like I always had to have a girlfriend. I don't know what my problem was, but like I had to have a girlfriend. Like if I drop one, then I'll get another one. And it was like back to back to back. Maybe I wasn't regulated. And now that I'm in my 30s, like I really have to like some, like I really have to rock with somebody to bring them into my space. So maybe daddy's just getting older. The Comedy Connection, Providence. I would love to come to Rhode Island. Providence is in Rhode Island, right? Providence, Rhode Island. I think so. I feel like it is. I would love to come to Indiana University. Shout out to the Hoosiers and Mendoza, the champions. Come to Canada. I definitely will. I'll be in Vancouver at some point. Maybe even this month. I'll be in Vancouver at some point. Because Daddy's getting older. That's why. um. So if you're talking about tardive dyskinesia, that happens from long-term use of first-generation antipsychotics or any antipsychotic, but normally, like if you've been on like a Haldol for like 25, 30 years, that's when you would see tardive dyskinesia. But theoretically, any antipsychotic can do it. In theory, you don't accept that answer. Daddy likes to call himself Daddy. I like to be alone sometimes. My mom says it's healthy to spend time alone. It is. And if you like spending time alone, then whenever somebody's hanging out with you, then they know that you're hanging out with that person because you actually want to be with them. Because if you can't stand to be by yourself, then it's like you're hanging out with whoever. But if you love your free time and you love your space, then when you hang out with people, then those are exactly the people you want to be around. Those are the friends you want to be around. That's the person that you want to really be around. So that's the advantage of enjoying time by yourself. The disadvantage is that sometimes, you can get too antisocial and a bit too closed off. So that's the thing about being by yourself. Sometimes you start to enjoy it a little bit too much, and you could lose your skills. I should ask your neighbor. That's hilarious. That's funny. That's funny. Yeah. Unfortunately, a lot of medications have pros and cons, and I see somebody saying that they were guinea pig for decades. I'm sorry to hear that, but yeah, I mean, look, antipsychotics, those medications, those are heavy medications. If you're prescribing them, you got to know what you're doing. And some people don't, but also sometimes, people forget to take people off of medications and adjust and so on and so forth. Never thought of it that way. Yeah, I like being by myself. I can't comment on how long you should be on a certain medication. Like I can't do that. My legal team will get me. They will get me. I'll get in trouble. Daddy will get in trouble, so I can't do that. Can't do that. Let's see. Chris says, I feel like my autistic traits upset partners, especially my need for straightforward communication. Women often get upset or say I said something rude when I am just trying to understand. Chris, this part does suck. It definitely does suck. And I can relate to what you're saying here. I do think that this goes both ways. I think that the autistic person in general just needs straightforward communication. And people talk in riddles and people talk in code. So people don't really say exactly what they mean. They just kind of, you have to decipher, and it's very tough. Chris, you know what? You're not wrong for this. You're asking for hanging out or if it's a date. And sometimes she might not know. I get it, because Chris, like, as a guy, you don't want to be seen as a creep, So if it's not a date, then you're like, oh, my bad, my bad for touching your leg. I didn't know that we were just friends here. Like, my fault. So clarification is, I do think that it's an autistic need, just getting some clarification, so that way you're not confused. But I don't know why the rest of the world won't just ask clarifying questions. Like you'll really sit there and you'll be confused. You'll be hanging out with a beautiful woman, and you're not sure if it's a date or if it's just hanging out as friends. And instead of asking, you're just like, well, I guess I'll just like think, and maybe they'll tell me what's going on here. Yeah, no, clear communication is not once again, communicating clearly is a skill that all of us, I think, we can work on. But I think clear communication saves lives. It saves lives. Holly, I love seeing comments from people who just found the content. Because it gives me a fresh perspective on people's uh, just thoughts. And Holly, welcome to the family. But no, there's more people like you up and down this live stream on Facebook, on LinkedIn, on YouTube, on Twitch, on TikTok. There are more people, many more people. There's a lot more people like you that you're aware of. A lot of folks. It can be downright dangerous for autistic women because younger generations, millennials and younger, don't ask for a date straight up. That's one way to look at it. I ask right away, what do you want? Hey, it saves time. Well, what do you want? And if they don't want anything, then they should let you know. Or if they don't know, they should just say, I don't know what I want. But there's nothing wrong with asking that, straight up. And a lot of times you don't know, and like, look, if you ask me, if I'm in the early stages of talking to somebody and they ask me what I'm looking for, I'm not exactly sure. Like we'll see where things go. I think premature commitment has bit me. I've shot myself in the foot many times due to premature commitment. So like I don't actually know. Like I don't know. Like we may not vibe. So like I don't know. I'm not sure what I like from you, but like we gotta hang out more and we'll see where we go from there. But there's nothing wrong with asking that clarifying question. Nothing wrong with doing that. Oh yeah, no, there's a lot of overlap between the two. There's a lot of overlap. They all say casual. The ways that we dress up things instead of saying the actual thing, like it could be hooking up. You say, "Oh, it's casual relations." It's casual relations. The euphemisms that we use are hilarious. It's just casual relations. Casual relations. That says no ambiguity, and I agree. Casual relations. It's funny. Oh yeah, and hitting the like button on YouTube gets people to see the content more. So they all see. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. I always get told if I have to tell you, then don't worry about it. For sure. Been on a healing journey for quite some time. No such thing as casual. You get it all. Overshare. No, that's something we definitely do. We overshare. Nice if we're gonna pick out curtains or champagne together. I just want to know if someone's romantically interested. I'm not usually interested though. I'm a what's demisexual again? Because I could Google it, or I could just admit that I don't know what it is, and I'm just admitting that I don't know what it is. I'm gonna just let you know. I'm not gonna try to look smart here, but I'm not familiar with what I've heard people use that term before. Demi, or I'm probably butchering it. Demisexual. I'm not exactly sure what it is. I'm gonna just let you know I have no idea. Please consider my point. But yeah, we do have a need for things to be direct. We have a need for things to be direct. I think that's a need. It's when you need a strong connection to be to a person. Oh, is that what demisexual means? Okay. Okay. I've been educated, did not know what that means. Okay, but requires a long time or building. Okay. Demisexual. I have been educated today. Did not know this. But to recap, for those people who didn't get the 3 things that autistic people should stop doing. Number 1, stop forcing yourself to mask all the time. Number 2, stop assuming people understand you automatically, especially when you leave your friend circle, because a lot of your non-neurodivergent friends, like, they don't know what we're talking about. So we have to just remind ourselves, oh, they don't know what we're saying. And then number 3, stop comparing your timeline to everyone else's. It can take us a while to get to where we need to be. And if you're behind when it comes to friendships, dating, or your career, just know that you are exactly where you need to be, and that the things that happen, to you, they happen for you. And you can take pride in your journey. So those are the 3 things. Might as well take another water break. May as well get another one in. Demisexuals don't do why not stands or sleep on the first date, but often feel pressure to. Gotcha. Okay. So no one night stands. You have to at least have a 2-night stand at a minimum. Gotcha. When I met my husband, he got ass out hugs for 6 weeks, despite me being madly in love with him. What does that mean? What's ass out hugs? Oh. Okay, so like kind of like friendly hugs, like not a lot of contact. Demisexuals need emotional connect. Gotcha. I think I'll Google that at the gym tonight. Okay. Demisexuals. Basil, I appreciate it. It is full circle. Oh, church hug. Ah, church hug. Leaving room for Jesus. Oh, that's funny. Leaving room for Jesus. That's funny. Barely touching. That's funny. But I mean, I do think that when it comes to neurodivergent dating, there are certain things that we should do, and the way Jenna did things is probably how we should do things, because we should go way slower than we think we're going. Like, take your time to get to know somebody. Don't just rush into it, even though we really want to. But sometimes our emotions will mislead us and they'll trick us. So going slower than you think you're going would be very helpful, especially for us. Like, whether you're demisexual or not, we should go slower than we would like to go. It's just a good idea. Huntsville, Alabama. Okay. Are there comedy clubs in Huntsville? I would love to come to Huntsville, Alabama. I gotta ask my team about that, because when I'm attached, I'm very attached, so I have to be extremely careful. Okay, so no, look, you know yourself. This is what we were talking about earlier in the stream. We were talking about this earlier in the stream. If you know yourself, you put yourself in positions to where you can win. All right. So when you do that, you know that you won't like really connect with somebody super quickly, because when you get attached, you get very attached. So you know yourself, and your 20s and 30s. I mean, your whole life, but especially your 20s and 30s, are really for getting to know who you are, so you can put yourself in positions to where you can win. I won't even kiss on the first date. I have had women ask if I wasn't attracted to them at the end of a first date. This is actually a good rule, Chris. I do this now too. Even if I could be hella attracted to her, I'm not gonna kiss in the first date. I created that rule for myself because I had to go, like I had to go way slower. So this is actually not a bad rule. I mean, you don't have to follow this to the T. If you're vibing with somebody and you want to stick your tongue down their throat, go ahead. But um, I have had to implement this rule for myself too. So limerence is confusing. It is confusing. Roll Tide. I'm sure a lot of us forget to wash our hair. Yeah, so if they're cute, that's great stuff. But I really know if I like them, if I need to get to know them. Well, at least you got a system there. When someone makes it in this point, unheard of. Alicia's in Tacoma. We're working on getting a show in Seattle. So Tacoma is like 30 minutes away. Apparently, I've never been to Tacoma, but I'd love to come there eventually. So, all right, that is it for the live stream. We've gone a little bit over an hour and a half, but this is a really good live stream. And we really should pick this conversation up again about maybe some things not to do. Things neurodivergent people should not do while dating, or things that we should stop doing. I think that'd be a very interesting list. No kisses on the first day. Because we do need some type of structure, and there's a lot of freedom within structure actually. When you have like a baseline, of how you're going to do things, then you can kind of freestyle. But a little bit of structure is not too bad, not too bad. And if you break a rule, we won't tell nobody. It's going to be a secret. We won't tell nobody. Narcoleptic Vampire on TikTok. Yeah, I know you missed the live stream, but we'll be back on the live again Thursday, 9 p.m. East Coast time, 6 p.m. West Coast time. Riley, don't say this. Now, this is a very common feeling, especially after something doesn't work out. And Patrick, thank you for attention. Patrick is always checking in from London. I appreciate that. Sometimes things don't work out. You're like, I can never date again. And I mean, if that's your choice, sure. But we may have to get that live stream for you, and give you a couple of rules as to how you could, do things differently this next time around. So yeah, 9 o'clock. Wait, am I traveling this week? I don't know my schedule. Okay, yeah. All right, I'm not flying anywhere this week. I think next week I am. So, but yeah, next show will definitely be Thursday, 9 o'clock East Coast time, 8 o'clock Tennessee time, and also Alabama time, 7 o'clock Arizona time, 6 p.m. I'll be on time next time. 6 p.m. West Coast time, 9-ish. All right. Maybe I should start saying that. 6-ish. Yeah. 9-ish East Coast time, 8-ish Tennessee time, 7-ish Phoenix, Arizona time, 6-ish Seattle, Washington time, 5-ish Alaska time, 4-ish Hawaii time, 2-ish London time, and a big heavy on the ish. And Riley, I'm working on it. Hold me accountable. Chris, thank you for coming through. Hold me accountable, y'all. Maybe I should start saying ish more. Ish. I like how you put the laughs like this. All right, y'all. Awesome live stream, and I'll see y'all 9-ish p.m. in 2 days. You have a good night and try your best to get some rest, and I will too. Peace.